So it's been a little bit of time since I made a video about the reMarkable 2 tablet, which I do have a review on my YouTube channel here, which I do highly suggest you take a look at if you want a little more ideas about the specs, the device itself, and all the nitty-gritty different things about the device. But today's video is a little more about how I use it and my experience with it, and how, yes, in the title, how it literally has changed my life is a little bit dramatic. But truthfully, I think it's one of the devices that really accomplished what it set out to do, and that's to declutter and get rid of extra things within your bag or distraction-free technology, which is really rare because you have an iPad or a phone or a laptop, and those things all have extra applications, messaging notifications, things like that, that really just kind of take you away from the productivity or the brainstorming aspect of whatever you might be trying to accomplish. So as much as it's dramatic to say it has changed my life, it definitely has changed a lot of my workflow in my life. So still true to the point, but we're gonna get into that. This video is in no way here to convince you to go get one of these. It is about $350, so it's no price to just kind of throw away, or investment if you want to call it that, that isn't quite substantial. Though it is just to talk about how I felt about it, my experience, and maybe it does work for you, or maybe you find something else that works for you, but it's just kind of to give you guys a general experience of someone who's been using it for about 3+ years now. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So there are a lot of products out there that are either digital or just, if you want to call them analog, like a planner or a book that kind of helps you stay on track of your day-to-day stuff. For me, I've definitely tried this. Full focus planner, all the way to a Walmart brand type of deal, type of tool, which is great. Some of those things work for a lot of people. For me, the more you add steps to my organization or to my goal setting, the more I don't want to do it, because now my goal is just to fill out those things rather than actually accomplish things that are trying to get me there to that goal. Full focus planner is definitely not something that works for me. It does work for others. I have experienced it. My old employer has used that a lot and definitely works for him. For me, not so much. My brain is scattered everywhere, and for me to have such a scattered planning or planner or device that will not really capture my ideas in the simplistic of most simplistic ways doesn't work so much for me. When I tried reMarkable out, I did pay the $400, the pen, the folio, the entire tablet, of course. It wasn't as easy to transition to because I was still trying to figure it out. But once you started using it, the more I realized, okay, so I just need to create folders and notebooks. Awesome. If I want to write something quick, it's just a quick sheet. I can now integrate all these different things into my Google Drive if I still need that connectivity to, say, the cloud. All my stuff is backed up in its own reMarkable software and cloud infrastructure, which I can now access through my phone and my laptop. So there's a lot of benefits to this device, and I'm about to get a little more specific of how I use it. For the overall arching story of my experience with it, I've, again, tried every possible different tool out there, and this one just seems to work best because I love technology, but technology often can be a distraction, or can honestly sometimes convince you of being more productive by having these like multitasking features, cloud capabilities, high-end processing units, whatever it might be. But really, and I do believe those help in a sense with maybe efficiency of the computer and computizing everything like that, but it doesn't necessarily make the person more productive. If anything, now you're worried about the features, the tech specs, and honestly, for me, what I've realized with good tech that's really set out to do what it's supposed to do is it's technical and complex in its, technical part and aspect of the device, but it's so simple in execution. And this is what that does. It is a simple pen input, eraser input, you write, you can convert to text, all with very simple functions and buttons, and there's not a lot of steps to get to those processes. And there's no distractions of applications. That for me is the biggest thing, because a lot of times when I want to just sit down and write, I might go to a coffee shop, I might be here at home, whatever it might be, I don't have these applications like iMessage, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I just have the tablet, and that's it. There are no apps, and that for me is the biggest key difference compared to any other thing, is that it's literally like taking a piece of paper and slapping it into a digital format. Literally, that's what it is. And that was so appealing to me. And for some, that might be like, well, I need these stuff. And it's like, well, you can use it in conjunction with your phone or your laptop, but for the sense of like decluttering and decompressing, but still having that technological advantage, if you want to call it, this does it. So before I start rambling more and more, let me get a little more into how I use it specifically. So my biggest gripe with notebooks and paper is the fact that there are so many pieces of it and that it's so fragile. You know, you're bending it, it can rip, it can break. When you put it in your bag, those corners of the notebook can fold over. So yeah, first world problem, I understand. But as technology advances, it's nice to see how we're able to combat those little problems and make them into a big change. So I hate carrying notebooks just because they're not reusable in the same sense as maybe a tablet. And again, it can break, it's fragile, it's not as user-friendly, if you want to call it that. Everything that I'm about to talk about is very simple. Like, there's not... The amazing thing about me making this video, and when I was trying to come up with what the premise is I was struggling to find like interesting and, you know, compelling different topics about the tablet, but then I realized that's kind of its own feature. And the reason saying this is when I use this tablet, I use it for school, work, YouTube, personal business, personal goals, whatever it might be. And I have it all laid out in a very simple fashion, and I'm sure you could get complex with it, but I realize that's probably not the way I want to do it. Instead, I just make simple folders of each thing that I just mentioned, so YouTube, personal goals, work, school, whatever it might be, and they sit up top, and then in each folder is either a few more folders or the notebooks with each subject that I want to tackle. So with school specifically, since it's a little bit easier, I'm taking 4 classes. So I have 4 folders for those classes. And then in each folder, I have a notebook. And those notebooks might contain 50 pages each, 2 pages, 10 pages, whatever it might be, and whatever I might need. So I'm not wasting any resource. Storage is extremely light, so I'm not taking up a lot of that space and that resource. And it's simple. You know what a folder contains, and you know that the notebook's going to contain the written content that I had put into it initially. And it's the same with all the other stuff. So I've actually used this tablet to write down a lot of my YouTube metrics, my goals for what I want to accomplish for this year. And then I split those into quarters. So quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4, and went on from there. And I didn't have to carry out a notebook. I wasn't typing on my laptop. I was using my phone as an analytical tool, but then I was just transferring it over so I can have it written down and I can understand this is what I need to accomplish. This is what I have done. Very simple. So that's kind of, for me, its own feature, is the simplistic nature of it. Now, if you want to get a little more detailed, yes, you can convert all that written text to computerized, you know, keystrokes. So whatever that would be called, just regular convert text into typing characters. And then you could email that. You can create a presentation from the tablet onto a projector screen. You can connect it to a PowerPoint. You can connect it to your Google Drive. You can mark up PDFs. You can then export those PDFs to your other device, which might be your laptop or your phone, which has all your markups on it. So that is an awesome tool. But in the nature and the premise of the actual product is very simple. And for me, I love simplistic because it's ease to entry and you don't have to be an expert on anything, and it doesn't take a large learning curve. In fact, it's as simple as writing on paper. Now, I know this sounds like a sales pitch. I promise you it's not. No one's paying me to say any of this stuff. I just genuinely love the product, which I've been using for, again, 3+ years. And I would say that it is a tool that does combine the technology and simplicity of an analog tool like paper and notebooks and stuff like that. It's just up to you and how you want to use it. For me, as simple as writing on paper, and that's all I need. When it comes to productivity, I think a lot of times we convince ourselves thinking that if we have this feature that's new, that it will make us more productive. And really, no, it comes down to habit and want and will. And this allows you not to convince yourself of thinking you're going to be better as a person. It's just a tool to get rid of all the clutter that's already in your bag or in your workspace. This does it for me 100%. In fact, I wrote all my notes for this video in there. A lot of it is just handwritten ideas, brainstorm quick. And then once I take that, I do eventually transfer it over to my MacBook, and then I type out my script or my ideas in a little bit more elaborate sense because I do type faster than I write. But the brainstorming process starts at the tablet instead of the computer. So that's my experience using the reMarkable Tablet 2. Again, if you're looking for a more in-depth review of the tablet, I'm going to link the video in the description, also within the tag up in the video to link you up to that video so you can watch it. Be sure to leave me down a comment about what you think about the tablet, if it's something you've been considering for some time, or you think it's just a waste of money overall, which is a fair argument. Not everyone needs this. For me, the biggest thing was just no distractions and does the job that it's called out to do. So thank you so much for watching the video. I'm so excited to hear what you guys have to say about it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you loved it. I definitely have a lot more content coming out, and if you are just waiting for all that, be sure to check out my other videos, which have different reviews, like the Ember mug review, obviously the tablet. My wife and I try coffee with mayonnaise because people believe that's an actual thing that's good, which it's not. But whatever it is, can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Deuces.